Hey everyone. It's probably a good idea that I share a little bit about what's going on in my own journey so that it might be able to help you. As you know, in my human design weather forecasts, the one thing that keeps coming up time and time again is this recommendation to work with your strategy and your authority. So I wanted to go a little bit into depth as to what that might look like for each of the different types. So I'll start out with the strategies today, and then I'll record another message about the authorities at a later date. And I will also briefly touch on my own authority, just to give you an idea as to what this all might look like for you. And that it's not just cut and dry and simple and, no fear ever happens with any of this. Trust me, there can be tons. Especially if you're being called to jump into the unknown, which I am right now. So these strategies with the 5 different energy types, with the 5 energy types, there are 4 different strategies. So the manifestors, these are the people that are supposed to be out there in the world, initiating things and making the changes happen in the world that they want to see. I know tons of manifestors that are able to just announce things, and there'll be like a dozen people that will be right up there wanting to assist in whatever way they can. And it's phenomenal to see this happen. Like, it is incredible to see how powerful manifestors are, especially by just initiating things. So if you're a manifestor, you are designed to inform people on what you want to have happen. And even if you're wanting to just do something for yourself, by yourself, but there might be another person that is in any kind of degree affected, it will be in your best interest and in other people's best interest to inform what you are doing. I know there's probably a little bit of a history of people wanting to shut down your energy, and I understand that there could be some fear or a desire to just not share what's going on. The way that you are going to be at peace, which is your aligned feeling, is by informing. If you do not inform, there is a very big chance that you will end up feeling angry as a result, which is your, some people call it your not self theme. Other people refer to it as just your unaligned feeling. So inform people. Just let them know, like if you're coming for dinner, if you're coming over to somebody's house for dinner, just say, inform them as to when you're leaving, what your estimated time of arrival is. It's as simple as that. Hey, just leaving right now. I know we said I should be there for about 5 o'clock. I'll be there for, like 10 to, maybe 5 minutes to, with traffic and everything. Or even a simplified version. If the time has already been decided upon, yeah, just say, hey, leaving now, ETA is 4:55. That is a beautiful little way to inform the people in your life as to what you're doing. If you want to have, if you want to see some kind of a change in your relationship that you're in, just inform the other person. Hey, this is what's going on for me. I want to be able to operate a little bit more into this kind of direction, and that will help everything be a lot more peaceful. So play with that. If you're stuck, feel free to reach out, and I'll get more into depth with that with you. Yeah. So on to generators and manifesting generators. Generators are supposed to respond. Same with manifesting generators. So there is a stimulus out there in the world, and that is then to be responded to you in some kind of way. I've heard, I don't know this firsthand because I'm not a generator or a manifesting generator, but I've heard that there can be like a fear to not have anything to respond to. Because, and then there can be this desire to get into initiating mode, which is manifestor territory. Please do not go down that road, and please just respond to whatever you can in the world. If you're feeling like you're stuck in your job and you're really wanting to have a change, don't go and start applying to jobs right away. Start with just responding to that feeling and start asking yourself, okay, well, how is this going within myself? And sit and play with that energy first. And then maybe somebody outside of you will say, oh, do you like your job? And that will be the initiating response place for you to be able to go, no, I don't like my job, and I actually feel like it's time to move on. And then continuing to respond to whatever stimulus is coming in from the outside, such as another person. And then if the other person says, well, have you ever thought about applying to other jobs? That would be a great thing to respond to. Go, no, but maybe I should do that. And then at that point in time, starting to go get onto the job hunt. Working specifically with that yes or no response that you have as generators and manifesting generators. It will be in your best interest to have other people ask you yes and no questions so that you can use your sacral response. This is the response that comes from deep inside your gut. Your gut will know the answer. The gut will be able to give you the clear yes or no as long as your brain is getting out of the way. what I do with my friends that are generators is I ask them to clear their minds completely, and maybe even just like shake a little bit. Okay, cleared? All right, yeah, cleared. And then I ask them, can I start asking you yes or no questions? And then see what the response is. Is it a yes or is it a no? And play with that as a result. This can be a lot of fun, especially if you've got somebody around you that knows you quite well and knows what kind of questions to ask you and is getting a little bit more familiar with the yes and no questions. That will be ideal. Tons of fun. So pretty much this yes or no response within you is your body's way of being able to tell you, I have the energy for this, or I do not have the energy for this. For generators, it's the same, like, no matter what. For manifesting generators, it's a slightly different, where that yes or no question needs to be asked on a continual basis. For generators, hey, do you want to go hiking this weekend? Yes. All right. Do you want to go on Saturday? Yes. Do you want to meet at this and this place at 9 o'clock in the morning? Yes. Boom. You're good. Smooth sailing. Go hiking. Enjoy yourself. Have a fantastic time. Manifesting generators will be a little bit different, where that yes and no questioning can happen, just as it did for the generators. But then adding on to that, because manifesting generators have just a little bit of a different style of movement through the world, they need to keep asking themselves that same question or those same questions. So let's say this question comes up on a Tuesday about the Saturday. Okay, Tuesday, it's a yes. Wednesday, it might be a yes as well. Thursday morning, you ask yourself, hey, is this, do I still want to go hiking on Saturday? Yes. Okay. Thursday at lunch, is it still a yes? Absolutely yes. When Friday morning, yep, it's still a yes. Still a yes. Friday at lunch, yes. Friday evening, yes. Saturday morning comes around, is it still a yes? Like, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I need to get going here pretty soon. Is this still a yes? No. What do you mean no? That's not fair. So just be okay with changing your minds. Manifesting generators, you have to let yourself change your minds, and especially if you've got the emotional authority as well, which we'll get into at a different date. Ooh, a little bit of a tongue twister there. Let yourself change your mind at any point in time, okay? This is the reason that manifesting generators can have so many balls in the air and so many projects on the go. This is phenomenal how, like, Manny Gens can just go like do and then just have this project and that project and put this one down for a moment and get on to the next one. It's really cool to see. And then for generators, to just see how much you guys are able to say yes, and if it's aligned, just start boogieing. Like, have you seen a generator that is fully in alignment with their yes and no response? They're powerhouses. Like, it's incredible. It's amazing. It's like, oh yeah, 12, 14-hour days. What are you talking about? Like, me as a projector, I couldn't imagine doing that. Give me like a 6-hour day and I'm like, okay, I need to like rest for like, 30, 40 hours now. But generators, oh yeah, just get up and go and do it like 14 days in a row. Like, come on. It's amazing. All right, moving on. Went through manifestors, informing. Generators, yes and no, and responding, okay? Manifesting generators, same thing. Yes and no response, and the responding and asking yourself the same question over and over and over to make sure that it is still a yes. If that Saturday morning example would have still been a yes, at that point in time, there would have been a switch in your energy where you would have gone from a generator, and then the switch would have taken you to be a manifesting generator or a manifester. So when you get through all of the yeses, that's when you get to really get into that manifesting energy. And then you just inform people and let them know what you need to have happen. The example that I've got for a fully aligned yes is my brother, who's a manifesting generator, and he works out of town, and he's told me stories about when he is working and leading a crew. I think he's like sometimes in charge of like 20, 30 guys at a time. This is a perfect thing for mani-gens to be doing. Coordinating between all of these different balls in the air, making sure that the different teams are operating as they should be, making sure that the supplies are getting to the different teams on their different schedules, and informing people as to what they need to do to keep everything running as smoothly as possible. Perfect job for manifesting generators. All right. So that takes care of about 80% of the population of the world, just about. 20% of the population, and then just under 1% of the population are the remaining two energy types in human design. The 20%-ish amount is what are called projectors. I'm a projector, and this is where the personal story gets to be put into play. Projectors, we work best with yes and no. Not yes and no. What am I talking about? My mind is still on generators. Sorry about that. Projectors work best with invitations. We are not supposed to initiate like manifestors. We're not even supposed to respond like generators or manifesting generators. We are supposed to just wait for the invitation. This can be very difficult, and I hear you, projectors. The world is not set up for people to be operating in this kind of way. So please, please, please be patient. Give yourselves that grace and let yourselves really play with that invitation idea just a little bit. Let's just try that just a little bit off the start, okay? When we are going through life, we need to really go after the things that are super interesting to us. So, for example, myself, human design is super interesting to me. So I got an invitation to start going down this road as a projector into this realm of human design. Once I started seeing, oh, this is actually pretty fun. At that point in time, my friend was like, well, why don't you turn this into a business? Why don't you start teaching and doing readings and all of this stuff? So that's how my human design journey got started. And then it just kept going and going deeper and deeper. And I got invited to do different training programs with different people. Phenomenal way of being in the world. And when I looked back into my life, the way that I got into the automotive business, which I was in for 17 years, there was an invitation for me to get down into that road and into that realm of business. So, yet another way of operating with an invitation. That was just my natural abilities to take things apart, analyze, replace whatever needed to be replaced, and then put it all back together. Fantastic. How to apply this in your own life as a projector is for you, and any design type for that matter, is for you to really let yourself get pulled into whichever direction really calls you, interests you, and lights you up. When you're in that state, it's like going fishing. You are taking your natural abilities, and that is like your fishing rod and your bait and all of that stuff. I hope I'm getting all of the I hope I'm getting all of the terms proper here, because I'm not actually a fisherman. Sorry to be insulting anybody or offending anybody. Anyway, you get the gist. You've got your rod, all of the different tools. You're out at your fishing spot, and you've got your line out, and you're watching what's going on in the lake or in the river, and you're assessing. And then you might change a little bit as to where you're putting, where you're taking your rod and you're throwing your line out into. Fantastic. You can't force a fish to bite. That is the invitation. All that other people can see is this beautiful, shiny, tasty looking thing that you've got dangled out there because you're in your element doing what you love to do. When people see that, that's when they latch on and go, oh, you love doing this? You love art? Wow, can I see some of your art? Invitation. Oh, I really love what you do with the colors and with the style that you've got. Can I buy some off of you? That's an invitation. Oh, this is phenomenal. Have you ever thought of putting it up online and selling it online? That's an invitation. So continuing on with what you're passionate about and letting yourself be seen by the individuals in whatever community you're in. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea as to how to work with the invitations. This can be scary. And here's the personal story as to how scary it can be. In my life, as I mentioned, I got an invitation to get into the automotive business. I got an invitation to start doing mobile pre-purchase inspections for people after I got fired from a job for not being a good enough manifesting generator, pretty much. Then I got going down this human design road and met a phenomenal individual in Canada, here in Calgary, where I live. We got talking. There was an invitation to connect deeper. There was another connection or an invitation to connect even deeper than that. There was an invitation to come over to Poland, where she lives, to be there for Christmas. And of course, like with all of these invitations, there was a change that happened where there was more just a general invitation for me to lead this relationship. And that's been phenomenal ever since. And so I've been playing with that, and we've been playing with that. Her and I have just continued to go deeper and deeper in our connection. And here's where the scary part comes in. Traveling to another continent for Christmas is fun. Being invited to move in to another continent, to another culture, another country, that has a totally different language is another thing. This has been one heck of a scary time for me, because this is where the rubber really meets the road for me. I've been standing on my soapbox saying, strategy and authority, strategy and authority, strategy and authority. Guess what? I should listen to my own frickin' advice. My strategy is to wait for the invitation. And there's an invitation to move continents. One of the big three of the invitations that projectors should really, really wait for. Jobs or career change, living place, and relationships. All three are active right now. The relationship, the career change, with me diving deep into human design, and of course, living. There are no other invitations coming to me for me to live in different places. Okay. So I've sat with my strategy, which is splenic. I'm supposed to be listening to that little voice saying this is a good idea or not a good idea. So I get the invitation. Okay. This sounds cool. This sounds exciting. And then my spleen goes, yeah, let's do it. Let's move. And you can imagine how scary that is. I am completely uprooting my entire life. I've been in Calgary for 25 years, 24 technically, 24 years. I've got my family here, I've got my friends here, I've got my business here, and yet this invitation is coming to me to change everything. Absolutely everything. But I've made the decision to go with that. I've made the decision to trust the process, to trust my strategy and my authority, and I'm leaping into this. And it's going to be amazing to see what happens. And I'll be able to say with confidence to trust your strategy and authority, once I get further down the road. It's already bringing phenomenal results. Just in this little bit of time since I have accepted this invitation, my human design business has been just exploding to the point where I don't have much time to do anything else, let alone like sell my things, pack, and get ready to move continents. So, you can do it. Whatever your strategy and authority is, you can do it. Okay, that soapbox is now complete. And now to the final, very, very amazing design of reflectors. So reflectors, as you might have heard me say a little bit ago, make up less than 1% of the population of the world. Their strategy is to wait one complete lunar cycle. Really cool. Obviously, the world is not designed to work in favor for reflectors. So I feel you, I get you. It's, I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to go, oh, here's this possibility. Let me sit on it for 4 weeks. Like, ain't nobody got time for that in the 21st century. And yeah, like we live in an instantaneous world. We live in this world where, oh, I want to have, such and such a thing from, whatever restaurant. I'm going to go onto this fancy little magical device that we've all got in our pockets and order it, and it's going to be here in 30 minutes. Like, unheard of. So obviously, reflectors, you do not have to do this every single time. Obviously, if you're wanting to have dinner, feed yourself. But for the big things, like projectors, where are you going to live? What's your career going to be? And who are you going to be in relationship with? Let that sit. Let yourself sit with that energy of that potential. Wait for the full lunar cycle. What I always recommend is to get a calendar, preferably like a hard, like an actual physical calendar where you can write down things. That's just what I like. Write down, okay, this is the date that this idea came to mind. Wanting to potentially start as a freelance journalist. Okay, let's say this is happening on the 1st of February, 2025, so a little bit over a month ago. Over the next 4 weeks, really sitting with that and feeling how that idea sits at all points in time when the moon goes through every single gate through that 28-day cycle. So the moon sits in every single gate for about 10 hours as it goes through the whole 64 gates in the human design rave mandala. Reflectors, I urge you just to play with that and see how this can all sit with you, and see what works well and what doesn't work well. You know, maybe writing things down physically onto a calendar is not the best thing for you. Maybe you've got a phenomenal memory and you can actually remember the date when you write down that, or you can, just remember that date as to when that idea popped into mind. So going back to this, freelance journalist idea, you'd sit with that throughout all of the different days, and then on the 28th of February, saying to yourself, okay, well, does this make sense? Am I actually supposed to go with this? And having that clarity from the moon to let you know if this is the way that you should be going or not. The big thing with this, obviously, patience. And with most designs, actually, except for manifestors, you guys just have to be patient with the rest of us slow pokes, and catching up with the quickness of your strategy. All right. I really hope that this helps everyone understand their own designs a little bit more. If you're wanting to know what your authority is, if you're wanting to know what your strategy is, reach out, ospreyguide.com. We'll have a little conversation. I'll be able to put you kind of onto the right path right off the bat with some different ideas, and we can talk about specific strategies for you with your specific strategy to begin with. All right, we will talk again very soon. I will be back with you tomorrow with your next human design weather forecast, and of course available for readings and coaching as well as you go through your journey. All right. Take care, everyone.